The next thing that we want to discuss are prime numbers. Now, prime numbers are special, and it is important to discuss what prime numbers are because they have something special about them. Let's go ahead and talk about what a prime number is. If I gave you the number 7, and I'd say, using multiplication, what numbers can I multiply together to give me the number 7? And say, well, 1 times 7 will give you 7. I'd say, yeah, that is correct. Are there is there another way to create 7 using other two numbers? So you'd say, well, no. 1 times 7 is the only way to create the number 7. I'd say, exactly. So this is what we consider a prime number because the only factors that it has is the universal number 1 and itself, the number 7. There are no other factors. There's no other way to use multiplication to come up with the number 7. Now, let's just try the next number. After the number 7, let's think about the number 8. And you're going to see how they're quite different. If I show you the number 8, let's say, what two numbers can I multiply to give me the number 8? Well, of course, you're going to say 1 times 8 because 1 times itself or 1 times any number is always that number. So 1 times 8 is 8. It's always going to have that. Then I'd say, well, other than 1 times 8, is there any other way to use multiplication? And say, yeah, what about 2 times 4? And I'd say, yes, 2 times 4. So I have another way to use multiplication or other factors to multiply together to give me 8. And say, yeah, are there any other numbers? What about the number 3? And say, no, 3 times something is not going to give me 8. What about the number 4? Yeah, but we just repeated ourselves, right? 4 times 2? Yes, we did. Okay, so I'd say, other than 1 times 8, was there another way to multiply to give me the number 8? And you'd say, yes. Not only can I use 1 times 8 to give me 8, I can also use 2 times 4. Now, because I'm using 2 times 4, there is another way to come up with 8. That is called a composite number. So this is the other vocabulary number that you have up here, composite number. So a composite number, again, it's when you have more than 1 times itself to come up with another value. For instance, a prime number is 7 because when we think about the number 7, the only way to get the number 7 is 1 times 7. There is no other way. But the number 8, I can do 1 times 8. Also, I can do 2 times 4. Let's think about the next number, 9. Okay, you come up with the factors of 9. And I'll ask you, how many different ways can I multiply two numbers together to come up with 9? Go ahead and pause the video and let's see what we come up with. Okay, so I'm going to come up with 1 times 9 because that's the universal factor. 1 times itself is always going to give me 9 or any number. But if there is another way to come up with this, then this known number is not considered prime. Can I multiply any other way? And the answer is yes. Did you multiply 3 times 3? Yeah, 3 times 3 is another way to come up with the value 9. So are there any other ways? Can I multiply 4 times something? No. 5 times something? No. 6 times something? No. I am done with all my factors. So is there more than one way to multiply to get 9? And you'd say, yes, there is. Not only can I do 1 times 9, I can do 3 times 3. And because there's more than one way to multiply, that makes this number composite. Now, I'm going to throw it up there one more time. Let's try another number. Let's try the number 11. Go ahead and pause the video and see what factors you come up with. Okay, let's think about the multiples, or I'm sorry, the factors. What can I multiply together to give me 11? Did you come up with 1 times 11? Again, remember, that's always going to be the factor. That's always there. Now, If there is another way to multiply, this number is not prime. And I think about, can I multiply 2 times anything? No. 3? No. 4? No. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? No. There is no other way to use two numbers to multiply together to come up with the number 11. The only way to come up with 11 is 1 times itself. Okay. Because that's the only situation to come up with 11, that means this number is prime. There is no other way to multiply to come up with the number 11 that is a prime number. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and start this list. I want to start a list of prime numbers. I'm going to start with the number 1. 1 they call the universal factor, or the universal prime number, or it is prime. Let's think about the next number. The next number is 2. The next number is 3. What would be the next prime number? 5, 7. Sometimes students will say, oh, it's 9, Varen, because you're listing odd numbers. That's not true, because the number 2 is also up here. It's not odd. That's an even number. So you can't say that all prime numbers are odd. That is not true, though most of them are. After the number 7, is it 8? No. 9? No. 10? No. 11? Yeah. The next number is the number 11. That's the next prime number. What about 12? No. 13? Ah, 13 is the next prime number, because the only way to create 13 is 1 times 13. There is no other way to use multiplication to come up with that number. What about the number 14? It's 1 times 14 and 2 times 7. So it's not prime. What about 15? It's 1 times 15 and 3 times 5. That's right. What about 16? It's 1 times 16, 2 times 8, and 4 times 4. That's not 16. That's not prime. What about 17? 17 is 1 times 17. Oh, but there is no other way. So the next prime number would be 17. So this is what makes prime numbers prime numbers. They are special because the only factors they have is themselves and the number 1, which means the only way to divide the number 17 is with the number 1 or the number 17, and there is no other way to divide these numbers. So again, if a number has more than one way to put two numbers together using multiplication to come up with its value, for instance, the number 8, it's composite, because I can go 1 times 8 to come up with 8 and 2 times 4. Because there's more than one way, 1 times itself, to come up with this number, it makes it composite. But if there's only one way, for instance, the number 11, the only way to use two numbers to multiply together is 1 times 11. There is no other way to put two numbers together using multiplication to come up with 11. That makes it prime. Can you think of the next number in the list after 17, what the next prime number is? Is it 18? Did you say 19? That's true. What's after 19? 20? No. 21? No. 22? No. 23? 23. So again, this list is never ending. You can go on forever thinking about prime numbers, but this is the rule. This is how they work. This is their definition. So again, you have prime numbers, and then the alternative is you have composite numbers. It's either or, prime or composite. There is nothing else.